What is going on, everybody? It's Alex. I'm back here with another video, and today we are kicking off round 3 of this mock draft. Now, I appreciate all the support y'all have been given, and I really want to give a shout out to the people in the comment section who have been able to give me feedback, positive and negative, while being able to say why and being able to say who they'd rather have and why they'd rather have them, because that helps a lot. Obviously, you guys are the masters for your teams. You guys know your schematics even better than I do. You guys have been watching them your whole lives, and you guys have dedicated your entire lives to one team. My job is to dedicate it to 32. So I appreciate you guys giving me feedback on that and actually giving positive feedback rather than just being complete douchebags and just saying that I suck. So let's kick it off. Round 3. Ravens are sitting here, and to be honest, there is a lot of different routes that we can go. I do really like the idea of them adding another tight end. I really do. Like, Ruckert would be a perfect addition to this team. Kind of think of him as like a Mark Andrews 2.0, but obviously I think he's a little more on the blocking front. They used to have a really good thing going with Max Williams there. I believe he now is in Arizona, which is the next pick anyways. But I really do like Jeremy Ruckert on the squad. I think that he's worth a second-round pick solely because he is a very solid all-around tight end. I think he's going to have a solid impact year after year, and I think he's worth this pick. Jalen Weidermeyer is somebody to mention in that group, but I think Jalen Weidermeyer is a little bit more inconsistent, and Isaiah Likely just needs to go to a team that has the ability to use him as a receiver. This is one of them, but I don't know if I'm going to be pulling the trigger on a guy like Weidermeyer right there. At this spot, I want to see who else is on the board for corner, because you still have NEHEMIAH, PRITCHETT, Jermaine Waller, who I would consider at this spot. Obviously, running back with Zach Charbonnet is one that I wouldn't mind. But you can even look at wide receiver, right? You still have guys like Jalen TOLBERT here, John Mechie. If you don't really want to keep a guy like Christian Kirk for the long term, John Mechie is a perfect guy to replace him. I think that that's a really good fit right there. And again, you could look, obviously, Mechie, Weidermeyer, Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker even. Kenneth Walker is certainly like worth this pick. I just have seen Zach work in an RBBC a lot better. And I believe Edmonds is up for a contract. I hope they bring him back because he'd be a really good pairing with Zach Charbonnet. But then again, we have seen how good James Conner was in this team. And I think they can give him a small extension, maybe a year, maybe 2, just to prove some consistency, because I don't know if you need to spend a draft pick on a running back, especially with your second pick, if your situation's working, right? Obviously, if you want to save money and not re-sign Edmonds, then you can go after a guy like Breece Hall, or you can go after a guy like James Cook or Ty Chandler in the 4th to be able to have that more of that 1-2 punch. But I think it eliminates the idea of me taking a running back right now. So right now I'm down to Jalen Weidermeyer. Isaiah Likely is an interesting option. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that, as well as a guy like Jermaine Waller. So Jermaine Waller as well as Jalen Weidermeyer. I think that if we pass on Jermaine Waller here, the next best option, I think Mikael Wright's going to be going soon anyways, he's very underrated. People think he's crap, and he's just really not. You still got Riley Moss on the board, but I really don't think that the talent drop-off is nearly as much at the tight end position if we miss on Weidermeyer as it is at corner. And again, we don't need a tight end. We did just trade for Zach Ertz, right? But you still have Josh Wiley here, Jalen Weidermeyer, Isaiah Likely. Hell, Cade Otton is still solid. You can't disrespect him that much. Austin Stogner, somebody who I think is underrated. One of my favorite, Greg Dulcich. So I don't think there's going to be that many tight ends gone by the end of the 3rd. There could be, but if there's a big threat to that, we could obviously move up. We've moved back twice. So I think the best choice would be to go corner here. Jermaine Waller, you know how damn good Virginia Tech corners are. You already know that. He's 6'1". He's lightning quick. I think that he is probably the best option here. You could go after a guy like Mikael Wright. I just don't like the fact that he's 5'11", if you want to use him as a true boundary on a team that is used to a guy like Patrick Peterson at 6'2". So I think this fits a little bit more with what the past has been. Obviously, Patrick Peterson's more like 210. So getting a heavier guy, you could talk about Caleb Evans here because he definitely fits the profile a little bit more. But I think the talent of Jermaine Waller is a bit better than the Caleb Evans. Again, you're getting a guy coming out of Virginia Tech from every single year of Virginia Tech versus a Caleb Evans, where one, is he actually a redshirt senior born in 2000? That doesn't seem right. He might be a redshirt junior. But apparently he is a redshirt senior, so he came early. But after being at Tulsa, then going to Missouri, I don't really like that level of experience. If you need a guy to be an instant impact, I'd rather take a guy who's been learning from Caleb Farley on the bench than anything. So Jermaine Waller, let me know what you guys think on that. 67 with the Jets. This is either tight end, running back, or offensive line for me. I think all positions are equally valuable. And, you could look at Ricky Stromberg right here. I'm a big fan of him. So if you guys see me take him here, it's like my big takeaway from this is that people look too much at the TDN rank and they don't look at the guy themselves. Ricky Stromberg's an absolute beast. I really do like him. And I'm going to be doing a deep dive tape study on him for PTSD if I get a chance to, the sports writing place that I work for. But you could look at a wide receiver. I don't think it's that big of a need compared. I think development is going to be a little bit more of the track that I'd go for that. Tight end is something that you do kind of need to look at. You do have two guys right now sitting in that tight end room, one of them up for contract, and I'm forgetting their names. I know who they are, obviously. I did a Jets mock draft. I think a tight end would be a really good option here. I really do. And I think a guy like Jalen Weidermeyer fits better with what they're looking for. I don't think Isaiah Likely fits. Josh Wiley's not going to get drafted before these three guys. So Jalen Weidermeyer is going to be my pick. Again, I just think that's the right option. You could look at offensive line or running back. Kenneth Walker would be a really good option here, or Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker's a little bit too much like Michael Carter. So I'm actually going to just say, let's go Zach Charbonnet here. Again, I think that he's the best RBBC running back by committee, running back in this draft. Just again, Kenneth Walker, he's a 3-down back. Breece Hall, 3-down back. Besides those two, I can't really think of anybody else who remotely challenges Zach in the rankings. James Cook, I could put him as my RB3 if I really wanted to. Ty Chandler, but nobody fits the bill like Zach Charbonnet does, and I think he fits perfectly. So 68 with the Texans. This is a spot where I would heavily look at a wide receiver, corner, or safety. So the top three needs, I certainly agree with. You could look definitely at running back as well. To be fair, Kenneth Walker's still on the board, and I think Philip Lindsay was cut, and Mark Ingram's there. Oh, and Mark Ingram got traded away, too. So they got jack shit in the running back room. Kenneth Walker's still here. I'm not even going to think about it. You do need to secure a running game at least. So just checking on what we already did for the Texans. We got Kenneth Walker along. Did we get a quarterback? We got Desmond Ridder, who he threw a scary interception. I'm recording this the day of that you guys are seeing it, but he recorded a pretty scary interception against ECU. But again, if you want to talk about scary interceptions, we're talking about Matt Corral throwing scary interceptions, Kenny Pickett throwing scary balls. It happens to everybody. But you got Kenneth Walker, Desmond Ridder, along with Aiden Hutchinson. That is a 5-star draft to me. So I'm liking how this is turning out for the Texans. These are all really big impact players, and this is the perfect time. You're round 3. Take them. I wouldn't be surprised if the round 2 pick would be Kenneth Walker if Desmond Ridder were gone. You just do need an instant impact, and a running back's the best way to get at least some pressure taken off a guy like Davis Mills. But regardless, the 49ers are sitting here. I think that, of course, Wan'Dale's not here, so I'm not going to be going wide receiver. I just think that he's the best fit. You could see another guy coming in at edge. I need you guys to explain why the fuck TDN really thinks edge is that big of a need. I don't think it is. Also, I think this is a good squad to be able to fix that issue. I would still be looking at Tyke Smith here. I know you guys got a slot corner, I think in like the 5th or the 6th round. You guys were trying to target one last year. I know that for a fact. Obviously the secondary is really weak, and I really like Tyke Smith. I always take him in the 2nd round anyways. So I think this is excellent value, and you could look at a guy in the other safety position. I really want to study the 49ers more, so they're probably going to be one of my next that I do for the 7-round mock. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to go Tyke Smith here. I think that he is an excellent slot corner safety hybrid, and he's going to work perfectly with, who did I choose for you guys? Darion Kendrick. So you're getting 2 very high profile corners out of Georgia, and one of them being a slot guy. Could also play safety. You guys, that is definitely a position of need. Your own team analyzed it as a position of need. So I think it's perfect. And this spot, I'm actually running to the bank because Verone McKinley's here, and he's been playing lights out this year. So we're seeing a quick run on safeties right here, but this is a team that could use a strong safety or a free safety. Again, Harrison Smith getting older. And I don't really think Xavier Woods is really that big of an issue. So Verone McKinley being the heir to the free safety realm is, I think, a really damn good idea. So you got Jermaine Johnson, I think you guys got Jermaine Johnson, Trent McDuffie, as well as Verone McKinley. Another high-end draft, in my opinion. I know you guys might not agree with that, but I mean, personally, as a guy who studies a lot of these guys, I think I'd be a big fan of that draft. 71 with the Giants. We've already went tight end with Trey McBride, and we've already gone right tackle. We've already gotten our edge. We can go another outside edge, but I don't know if that's exactly something you would do. We certainly should go offensive line. And you know what? That's exactly what we do. High profile center, Ricky Stromberg out of Arkansas. Look, he's a true junior as well, right? Like, he is young as all get go. And Arkansas knows how to run the ball. They're a very, very good team. Very good training. Arkansas knows how to train their centers. I mean, Frank Ragnow is one of the best in the NFL right now. So getting Ricky Stromberg is certainly a huge position of need. So you got your right tackle or right guard if Darian Kennard doesn't work out at tackle. And you have your star center right there, Ricky Stromberg. These are positions of heavy need, and it's excellent value. So I really enjoy that. For the Giants again, now this is where it gets a little tricky. I think I'm going to go linebacker here. Henry To'o is returning, in my opinion. Happy to see Mike Jones Jr. falling because he's not going to be coming out. I think I'm going to be going Owen Papo here. But then again, there are the running backs on the board. I do seriously think running back is a huge issue, and I'm going to be going Breece Hall here. I usually do, but it's a big need. It's a big need, and you need to fill it. Also, you're taking them away from a team like the Falcons. So win-win. But for the Falcons, I'm looking at it. I'm pretty sure Devontae Wyatt's still here. I think that's an excellent choice. Getting extra beef on the interior. Also, you guys get to watch him all the time. I think that is absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to see, because obviously when they have something highlighted, that's usually a crime. Had a small crime, but again, JUCO transfer, he's going to be able to come out day one and perform. Devontae Wyatt's been a really, really, really big impact on that Georgia front, and I'm a big fan of him. Travis Jones is another guy, but I think you go with the homeboy here. You could go safety. You just already did multiple times in the last draft, if I'm not mistaken. So running back, yeah, I can see it. I can see you going after a guy even like James Cook to be your Alvin Kamara, but realistically, I don't think that's where you go when you have a guy like Devontae Wyatt on the board. So this is a good spot to take an impact defensive tackle. So Devontae Wyatt, absolute beast. I think I'd go with him. 74 with the Jaguars. I wanted to see where did Jackson Kirkland go? He went 59. So this is a spot where I'd start looking at a developmental tackle, but again, you need an instant impact. That's something I would personally go in free agency for until next year, where you get to have a high profile tackle. At interior defensive line, we could certainly get another player there. Tight end, I think, is a big issue. If you want to get Isaiah Likely, corner as well. I think corner is kind of a bigger issue than what it's made out to be. You got Campbell there, but this is supposed to be one of the best secondaries in the NFL, thanks to all these free agent acquisitions, right? You got Griffin there. You got, you used to have Henderson there, Campbell. Like, it was a really high profile defense, and unfortunately it hasn't fully panned out that way. So I'm looking at Mikael Wright here as a really good option. You already got some edge presence there. You could go a guy like Travis Jones. I could see the Jaguars going after a guy like Travis Jones, to be fair. But I also want to highlight Isaiah Likely and Jalen Weidermeyer here. Both are really high-end talents. Isaiah Likely is going to the Senior Bowl as well, so we're going to be able to see him firsthand go up against some higher-end talent, which is going to be fun. I'm very excited to see that. But I don't know if the Jags want to pull that trigger after sending after sending CJ Henderson for a tight end. That might not be the right move. If you're able to give up your former first-round pick for a tight end, you're probably not going to be drafting another one very highly. That being said, I still might do it. But I think the cornerback position is something that's very underrated. Mikael Wright is a third-round pick, and this dude is, in my opinion, worth a second-rounder. So you're getting excellent value at a position of need. And to me, that's kind of just like a home run hit. 75 with the Eagles. I think this fell perfectly into our laps. The last strong safety on the board, Also, really, really talented ass safety. Lewis Sign, you could look at other positions, but I don't think that you can ever even fathom doing that when the need for that safety is so large and the gap between him and the next is so great. So Lewis Sign, absolute stud safety out of Georgia. So now you have an all-star, all-pro level center replacement for Jason Kelsey. Also, he can play right guard in the short term. Not to mention a really damn good strong safety to replace. Not to mention that I'm pretty sure you guys got Brandon Smith, so high-end linebacker. Not to mention George Karlaftis at 16, which is insane value, and Sauce Gardner. I'm just going to say this has my stamp of approval. So I like it. Number 76, this one, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to go Isaiah Likely just because he's not like other tight ends. I think that the intrigue is going to be worth taking him. And he's a really fun ass tight end. So I like him. Hopefully personality issues don't pop up like what happened to Brevin Jordan last year. I don't know what happened with the 4.7 40 with him, but the guy played a lot faster than that. I'll tell you that. 77 with the Browns. I don't know how this happened, but Travis Jones fell right into their lap. He's 328 pounds at 13% body fat. That is ridiculous, and I'm a big fan of it. With the Bears, I think this is wide receiver time right here. You got John Mechie. He's actually a perfect replacement for what Anthony Miller was or Jalen Tolbert. And I think John Mechie doesn't slide any further. So we'll give him the respect he deserves. John Mechie out of Alabama going to the Bears. You could use a number one wide receiver like Jalen Tolbert. He has the build for it. I just think John Mechie is a little bit more ready day one, and they're probably going to want a separator for Justin Fields rather than a guy who has the potential to be a really good separator. For the Bills, I'm thinking about taking Jalen Tolbert here, to be honest. The more I look at it, the more I really want to do it. I don't know. We could look at the defensive line. Perion Winfrey is excellent at getting pass rush, although I don't know if they exactly need that. You could look at the tight end room. I know Dawson Knox is playing really well, though. You could look at running back if you want to get a power back. Isaiah Spiller would be a perfect guy. I know they were looking at Najee Harris apparently last year, and that kind of shows to me that you could use a running back. Wide receiver is certainly something I want to look at because you do have guys like Zay Flowers here. Khalil Shakir fits a little bit, or Romeo Doubs fits a little bit more with what they're looking for in terms of a deep threat. But, I don't know. Do I go Romeo Doubs here or do I go Jalen Tolbert? Because I really want to go either of them. It's very interesting. Wow. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because both of them have their really good strengths. Of course, the lighting is absolute garbage. Thank you to the sun for getting right into the lighting. But honestly, I think that a guy like Jalen Tolbert is going to drive a little more excitement. And I'm trying to think of who would be a little more like Emmanuel Sanders. Romeo Doubs is a little bit more like that. So we're going to go Romeo Doubs out of Nevada here. And that's just solely because I think he fits what they're trying to replace a little bit more. Romeo Doubs is a really, really good wide receiver, though. With the Colts, this is another team that can go Jalen Tolbert here. Another one. I don't think they do. I don't really feel like Jalen Tolbert's what they're actually looking for. I would definitely be looking for a tackle / guard replacement. Last round, I think we got a high-end corner. Who do we get, actually? We got Martin Emerson. I like that. Martin Emerson is a great pick for this team. This is a team where I could see them trying to go after tackle, but Zion Nelson, I already said he's going to be returning, so it's not confirmed. I'm just assuming it because obviously when you're a first round prospect as a true junior and then you fall to like the third, maybe fourth round, most of the time you probably want to change that. I think this could be, you know what? We're going to do it. Jalen Tolbert is somebody where, this team can take a shot on him, and we're going to do it. Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. Seeing a little run on wide receivers here. You need corner and wide receiver above everything, including a left tackle, but there's just not anybody who'd be worth starting right now. So I would say if you really want to tackle, either do it in round 2 if someone falls or go after someone in free agency. I think that's the best option. And getting a guy like Jalen TOLBERT is really, really good value here. This is starting to shape up to be a pretty solid wide receiver class, although I don't think it's that deep. Dontario Drummond's probably the next guy who I'd draft out of the squad. DJ Matthews is somebody who's in there. I just don't really like many other people. Justyn Ross, sure. But at 81 with the Broncos, this is a good spot to look at an edge prospect. And Sam Williams is here. This guy has been doing really well. He deserves to be taken in this third round, if not before. Had 2 sacks in an Egg Bowl. He looks really solid, man. Some of the penalties he does just get me a little bit off guard. Like, it seems like, why are you reaching for a quarterback's face mask when he's literally 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage? Stuff like that kind of bugs the living hell out of me, but his talent's undeniable. He's really damn good. So taking him right there, no problemo. Number 82 with the Steelers. This is a tough one because, well, all the wide receivers I take are gone, right? Romeo Doubs, perfect replacement for Washington. Jalen TOLBERT, perfect replacement for Juju. Not perfect, but a really good replacement for Juju. And that kind of sucks because those are my wide receivers that I would have taken. Corner, we already took Roger McCreary, and we already took, I believe, Sam Howell, which are both pretty solid selections, and both, I feel, Steeler selections. If you want a Kenny Pickett there, you do, you boo, but that's just not me. I would still be looking in the wide receiver realm, but it's just you can't do it after that. You really can't. So let's see who else is available. Obviously, you got Travon Walker's returning. Henry To'oTo'o is returning. You still have guys like tight ends and stuff and running backs that we're obviously not going to select. You could go another corner here. It wouldn't be a terrible idea, although I do think we could look on the offensive line side. And there are guys like Lacisha Smith that I could see as a team, as like a guy that Steelers would really like. Right guard is certainly something I would want to fill. You could look at Jamaree Salyer. I'm pretty sure he did play tackle, right? So honestly, that might entice the Steelers to be able to go that route because you are looking for someone to replace at right tackle for the future. So honestly, I think that's a smart move. Steelers, you need to get offensive line help, and Jamaree Salyer probably going to be the guy to do it. Another guy I could see, I'm going to try to see down the line because the Steelers always draft some crazy ass dude in like the 5th round and they turn out to be amazing. Doug Kramer's in here. Interesting. But honestly, I can't really see too many guys who are really damn good down the line. I really can't. This is not a great interior offensive line class at all. Nick Ford, interesting center. Jarrett Patterson, it's been a little bit rough for that Notre Dame offensive line. But Lacisha Smith is another guy. Ed Ingram, can't see it. He's too much of a mauler. So Donovan West, maybe. But Jamaree Salyer is going to be the guy right now. Again, I do think that tackle versatility is something that they would really, really like. Another team that could use a right tackle because now they're using Leatherwood at right guard is the Raiders. That being said, they need a corner. They do. We got a wide receiver. I think did we get Jameson Williams for them last round? No, we got Wan'Dale Robinson because Jameson went earlier to a division rival. Even more fun. I think a guy like AKAYLEB Evans is something that they're going to be very interested in. I think that not JUCO transfer, but a day one impact redshirt senior with that height to weight ratio is something that the Raiders are going to be really interested in. And I don't think he falls past here. Of course, the Seahawks. Did I get Sean Ryan for this team? Because I know it says interior offensive line. I did. So they got their left tackle fixed. I think this is where you go edge. ZTF probably been taken. Yeah, he has. But I think that they do like these edges out of Florida. Zachary Carter is 285 pounds. I think he's more of a interior threat. Don't think that's something that they go after. But, you could look at a guy like Logan Hall. He's 275, 10 pounds lighter than Zachary Carter, does work on the outside. And I think they probably will like his drive. You could look at a guy like Isaiah Thomas here. Wouldn't be a bad option. Isaiah Thomas has been pretty consistent over his career, just nothing special. Ali Gay, another guy who could work really well. But I'm going to go with Logan Hall to the Seahawks here. Just kind of getting another edge presence there. Learning from Carlos Dunlap wouldn't be a terrible idea. However, I would say probably a more realistic pick would be a Brenton Cox. I just don't like him. So I'm just not going to be drafting him right there. 85 for the Texans. Wide receiver, pretty much all gone. I don't like Zay Flowers. However, I could see them going Justyn Ross. Justyn Ross is being underrated right now. Has terrible quarterback situation, was a top 10, 15 prospect 2 years ago before his spine issues. Nehemiah Pritchett's still here. Obviously, you still have a guy like Riley Moss here. There are a lot of 1 to 2 year deals at the cornerback position for the Texans. So for me, that screams two things. One, they're trying to patch it up. So that might mean that they do want to get some long-term options there. Or two, they're happy with just fitting dudes in free agency. Do I think Nehemiah Pritchett is going to be the guy who fixes all the problems? Probably not. Neither with Riley Moss, even though I love Riley Moss. However, I don't think that you can say that that's a reason why they don't take a corner, right? So they have Sidney Jones there. Pretty sure he's playing slot. Nehemiah Pritchett, obviously he's 6'1". He should be playing boundary. So we're going to take him. Again, you could say that you don't want to go corner route, but we do. And Nehemiah Pritchett is that guy. Jameson Williams, as well as I believe Kenyon Green for the Chargers. I'm a pretty big fan of those picks. I'd be looking in the edge room. I just don't see anybody who is of the right weight to go into this edge position here. You know, it kind of sucks, but again, there's also free agency for that. So, I mean, you guys try to keep saying that you don't need a tight end. I don't think that. I think this is just best player available. Parham is up for a contract this year. I don't think he's going to be re-signed. He could be, but it's probably not going to be a large deal. He's not a true tight end one. Trey McKitty is solid. You know, it's not a reason not to draft a tight end, but he is solid. Weidermeyer and Wiley and Dolchich as well, I think are just better talents than all of them. And Jalen Weidermeyer has a bit more hype on him. So for me, I'm going to be taking this solely because it's best player available. You get, I mean, just because you have something doesn't mean you don't take a cheaper option, but B, a better option for the future. Jalen Weidermeyer slipping to 86, just because, again, I don't think that teams are going to see him as that special. 87 with the Chiefs. Now, this is a team that could use a high-end corner, and I think Riley Moss is perfect for this. We got a slot safety, I believe, in Daxton Hill. We did not, which is quite interesting. I actually want to see that. What did we do for the Chiefs? So we got the Chiefs, David Bell. I feel like that's a Chiefs move, as well as Kingsley Enagbare. So I'm fine with that. Riley Moss out of Iowa is going to be the pick here. You do need somebody who can play slot, play outside. Riley Moss is a pick machine, and Iowa State corners usually just fall down anyways. I don't know what's up with the hate on Riley Moss, but the dude's worth this pick. 88 with the Buccaneers. Unfortunately, I wish I could be sending Travis Jones to this location because that would be pretty fun. We can't. However, Perrion Winfrey's still on the board, and I might send him this way. I just don't really. You know what? I've been actually pretty much on this train for a while now. I really do think that they're continuing trying to like test out scat back running backs, and James Cook is worth a second-round pick to me. So James Cook going right here. Number 89 with the Bengals. This is another team. We got corner as well as offensive tackle. I think that going on the interior of the offensive line wouldn't be a bad idea with a guy like Leticia Smith here. Now, you could go at Ingram. It's a little bit more of a mauler, but I like Leticia. I like his day one impact. I think that he's better than Ed Ingram, although Ed Ingram is scary. I just don't think that the Bengals are a type of team to draft a guy like Ed Ingram. They could, but I think Leticia Smith is just a little bit better. 90 with the good old Patriots. Honestly, this is a team that could take a guy like Zachary Carter and make him to a 5-star prospect. They've already gone outside edge a lot of times. I think going inside with Zachary Carter wouldn't be a terrible idea. He's 285 pounds, has some juice to him. I think that's going to drive a little bit of demand for him, and we're going to take him here. 91 with the Broncos. Unfortunately, Riley Moss is not here. Otherwise, I'd be sending his ass over here immediately. That being said, one of my favorite linebackers is still on the board, who is very solid in coverage. Owen Papo out of Auburn. Really good fit. I think that he'd work really well with the linebacker rotation there already. So send Owen Papo over to Denver. Number 92 with the Cowboys. Honestly, if a guy like, where's he at? John Mechie were still on the board, I'd probably take him here. I would, just because I don't think Michael Gallup's going to return. So wouldn't be a terrible idea, but like Khalil Shakir, definitely on the board. I will be considering offensive line though. I will. It seems like I'm going offensive line, but it's not a terrible idea. Again, I think that a guy like Greg Dulcich or Josh Whyle would be something that the Cowboys would really like. Obviously, Cincinnati is in the AAC, so you get to see them come around into some of these Texas schools quite often. It helps out. Josh Whyle is super underrated, man. I'm telling you, this guy's gonna be a big deal in the NFL. He can block too. I don't think they do that though. I think offensive line is something that they value a lot more. And getting a guy who might move into guard and then eventually back out to tackle might be the best choice. Obviously, I'm looking at guys like Kellen Daesh, Abina Eze, Rasheed Walker as dudes who can be big impacts there. I think going interior offensive line might be the best move though. You are probably going to be losing your left guard in Connor Williams. Just he's not worth being paid for. And it's pretty obvious with how McGovern played guard in that Thanksgiving game. He's not the answer. So getting a guy who can help in the run game as well, and Ed Ingram might be the best choice. He's not that far off from Lakeisha Smith. And I honestly think that he honestly could be fun to try out at tackle. So I just want to see if he's ever played tackle. I don't think he has, but I think that he's a very solid option. And he's very, very mean, very aggressive. Ed Ingram out of LSU. You can never go wrong with going offensive line. It's just like which offensive lineman's the best. 93, I think this is a perfect spot for a guy like Greg Dulcich to end up. Greg Dulcich out of UCLA going right here. Just don't think Josh Whyle fits that squad. Number 94 with the Packers. This is a team that you could look at linebacker. You can look at offensive line. I think offensive line wouldn't be a bad idea, especially since you have an excellent mentor there in wow, I can't believe David Bakhtiari. A guy like Rasheed Walker would be a really good addition to this team. Somebody who can actually learn from a top-end prospect or top-end talent. 95 with the Ravens again. Fortunately, there's no safeties on the board. However, there still is Perion Winfrey. I think that's a guy where the Ravens would really like him. They, of course, steal the really good talent that falls down the board. That's where we're taking him. 96 with the Cards. This is a spot where I could see them going after. I mean, it really just depends on what the hell they're looking for, whether they're actually going to be taking out. Wow, I already said his name, Chase Edmonds. That being said, this is a great spot for a guy who can develop as a tight end. Really good blocker, extremely talented extremely talented receiver. Josh Whyle as Cincinnati. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I think it's a home run pick. Obviously, Ertz doesn't have too many years left in his career, if any. And Josh Whyle, to me, again, is probably the most talented tight end that there is in the draft. Just a really big play threat. Big fan of him. With the Steelers here, I think this might be a Justyn Ross pick. Just a team that would be willing to take a shot on a guy like Justyn Ross. Offensive tackle wise, again, we already took a guard. Who do we take for the Steelers as a guard? Jamaree Salyer, who could play tackle. You can see them take, I mean, they do like Louisiana boys. So Max Mitchell, I need to watch him because I haven't seen him yet. Wouldn't be too out of the question. Kellen Daesh as well. I can see him doing that for the Steelers. Honestly, I could see him doing that. They do need a right tackle, though. These guys are true lefts. I mean, Rasheed Walker, he's so much of a project. You can switch him to right. I'm actually going to take a wide receiver here. I'm going to take Justyn Ross. I think that he is an excellent wide receiver and extremely underrated. The Steelers probably would be willing to take a shot on him, probably losing two of their top wide receivers this year. So take him, be able to give a big target for their good old quarterback, Sam Howell. Number 98 with the good old Leones. This is going to be a good spot to go a corner as well. Just somebody of good depth. Kobe Bryant wouldn't be a terrible idea. Really solid corner. Alontae Taylor's pretty good too. I do like Alontae Taylor. So those are guys who I would consider. You could look on the interior of the offensive line. I just don't really see too many other positions of need. So seeing who's actually really good out here, Sevyn Banks could be a really good safety transfer. And I think that's honestly where I'm going to go. Sevyn Banks to be able to play corner, but I don't think he stays there. I think he's much better as a safety. So Sevyn Banks, Ohio State safety, go with it. Pairing up with his former teammate. Number 99 with the Dolphins. Now this is a spot where I can see him going a true 3-down running back. You could talk about Isaiah Spiller here. I think that's probably the best idea. I don't think that you need to use him as a 3-down running back. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to do so, but you can use him in RBPC as well as a spiller wrecking ball down the middle. 100 for the Rams. This is a perfect spot for Kellen Dyche. It's right near LA, in Arizona, or right near California. And he's a high-end left tackle. Don't think that there's too many more years left and at any position pretty much in the offensive line for the Rams. They're a rotating door, but again, you look at the left tackle spot, it's going to be a big need. 101 back with the Ravens. I would honestly look at Brenton Cox here. I'm not a huge fan of him, but again, that doesn't mean that he's terrible. He's worth a 3rd round pick. As long as he gets his head and ass wired together, he's going to be pretty damn good. And this is a good spot for him to go. 102 with the Saints. I really like Alontae Taylor to this team. I really do. I think that's a really good fit and a really good pick. So that is going to be the pick. Let me know what you guys thought of this draft. It's actually changed up quite a bit every time. So I'm very happy about that. But again, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.